Hello, welcome to the Total Truth Show. My name is Aldwyn today, coming to you from the Gold Coast in Australia.
Oops. See, I'm muted. Okay. And my name is Ken Kleinberg, and I am coming to you all the way from the USA, San Diego, California.
And I'm Angelique Pellegrino, coming through from Brisbane, Queensland.
And we have a hot topic for you today. We're chatting about the truth about how to transform your life fast, straight after this short introduction.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show, hosted by myself, Ken Kleinberg from San Diego County, California.
And I'm Aldwyn Altuney, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And our goal here on this show is to help you to break away from the mainstream media propaganda and lies, the disinformation and misinformation that's out there in the mainstream, and really help you to start questioning everything and start doing the research for yourself. We want to punch through all of that disinformation and misinformation. Our goal here is to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass and then pave the way for a new awakened civilization. And we would love for you to come along for the ride. Don't take our word for it. The things that we share here on the show, that goes for our guests too. Start doing the research for yourself. Start going and asking the questions for yourself. Get out there and really find the real truth behind things. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Oh, yes. Welcome. I can't wait for this show today. This is going to be awesome. I can just feel it. We've been having a whole lot of fun in the green room before we went live today, and I'm sure this is going to be an absolute hoot. So today's topic is the truth about how to transform your life fast. And of course, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Ken Kleinberg, and our wonderful guest, Angelique Pellegrino. Hello. And a bit about Angelique. Now, she practices rapid transformational therapy, otherwise known as RTT. Now, this embraces several different healing modalities based on neuroscience and gives fast, effective results for your mental health by combining the most beneficial principles of hypnosis, psychotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and cognitive behavioral therapy. Welcome, Angelique.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. And of course, great to see my co-host, Ken. We've had a little bit of a break, actually, because I've been in Bali the last 2 weeks. I survived Bali, and no, I did not get Bali belly, for those who are wondering. And in fact, most people I know have had Bali belly when they've gone to Bali. As you were saying, Angela, you don't know anyone earlier today, you were saying that has gone to Bali without getting Bali belly. However, for those who do get Bali belly, there is something called Po Chai pills that a naturopath told me about in Brisbane that helps with Bali belly. The only problem is I looked everywhere for these Po Chai pills in Bali and couldn't find them anywhere. So I'm not sure if they actually still actually produce them or where you can get them nowadays because one of the ingredients in these pills is actually banned in Australia. But anyway, that's a bit of a side topic. Great to have you here. And Ken, how are you feeling today?
Feeling amazing. Just amazing.
Excellento. Okay, well, this is going to be a hot topic today because I know a lot of people out there, I'm sure, want to change their lives or transform their lives in some way. And I know, Angelique, there is so much to your story. And in fact, since we started working together in the Mass Media Mastery program, where you joined my program a few years ago, you're now in 4 compilation books, right, which you may have some there to show us. You're now in 4 books. And you have your own book, your own complete book coming out as well very soon, which is very exciting. And it's been great to see your transformation as well, since you've decided to actually put yourself out there and to step up. So let's dive into a bit of your background story, Angelique. If we can kind of summarize what brought you to do this kind of RTT, this rapid transformation therapy work in your own life, and how has it benefited you with all your ups and downs?
Yes. So, well, I was born and raised in Switzerland, and I used to observe people because my parents had a restaurant, which was more like a pub. People would come there every day and have their drink and not leave until, it was closing time, and they were drunk and they would gossip and they would just betray each other. And I just thought, there's got to be more to life. And also one day at school, when I was about 15, a teacher said that we only use 10 to 15% of our brain as humans. And it was like a download. I felt like, oh my God, what's going on with us humans? Obviously, the answers are in the 85 to 90%. So it kind of became my life's quest to find solutions. And I was very shy, petite, believed everybody. And I still went and traveled around the world. And that's when I started to discover that a lot of the black and white that had been drilled into me was actually not factual. There was a lot of lots of shades of grays, pun intended. And
at least 50 Shades of Grey, right?
Exactly. And so I started my journey, I guess, by comparing and looking at other people, etc. And then eventually went on the spiritual side first and looked at all the different religions and all the different beliefs. Then I was attuned to Reiki, and I did all that, but it just didn't quite gel with me. I thought it was very slow to peel the onions bit by bit for your transformation, Then I also studied counseling, only because I wanted to know where the medical system was at, to try to build a bridge across the two. And again, this was very unsatisfying for me, because I just, I don't know, you can't see my hands, but, I just felt like they just kept going around and around in circle, but just talking about their past. It just keeps you in that vibration. You don't move or shift from that, And then I would see, if I just go back again to see my two hands, here you have the counselors that just keep you in the past. Then on the other hand, you have the life coaches, and hey, they're all doing their best, wanting to help someone else, etc. But most of them are half my age and think they can all do it with a mindset, which, yes, again, your mindset is imperative. It is absolutely that's it. That's how it creates your future. But if you don't clear the junk that's deeply, deeply buried in between those two, if you don't clear that junk, and I'm going to give you some examples, it's going to keep coming up to the surface and hold you back and bite you in the bum in whatever ways. And then, of course, God, the universe, made me learn, I guess, because I met this extraordinary man who was my husband for 20 years, but he had been raped by an uncle when he was 11 years old. And I only discovered that when he was 7 years into my marriage. And, no matter what he tried to do, no matter what, he just kept, it was just that vicious circle, constantly getting, excuse my French, but ucked up the bum, Because if he tried to work for someone else, he wouldn't get paid. If he tried to start his own business, there'd be fires and we'd have to, evacuate people. It was just always drama. And, so your mind, constantly thinking, what's happening? Like, he must have so much bad luck. Maybe one of those Italian mamas, cursed him, and that's kind of a logical thing. And I just kept looking for solutions. And I tried to do my best. But as you know, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And he got to a point where he just didn't want to be around anymore, and he moved on. But Unfortunately, only a few years after is when I discovered rapid transformational therapy, which I've learned from Marissa Peers. And I give her all the credit because she was doing it for 30 years before she started to share her skills. And in saying that, there's a lot of people that do what I do. I mean, not a lot, but a few. And I think what really takes it to another level is the intuition, which I would say my intuition is second to none. So I can give you a couple examples if you like. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So like, for instance, excuse me, but my nose is rolling.
That's fine.
So
just while you do that, just quickly, I'll just say hello to Jeff Field. We've got Jeff Field joining us from Manila, from the Business Guru. Hello, Jeff, listening while having scrambled eggs and coffee. Well, do enjoy that, Jeff. I've just had my coffee, actually, very lovely. And for others joining us on the live stream, please let us know, where are you from today? Where are you from? And if you were to transform one area of your life, what would it be? Let us know in the comments. All right, back to you, Angelique, about an example.
So I have lots of examples, but just to talk about my intuition, I had this man who came to see me one day, and it was really heebie-jeebie, and because I had actually trained in counseling with people who had an anti-ice campaign, and also because my husband was a user, not anyway, different, but anyway, I thought, oh my God, I confronted him and I said, hey, you're on ice or something. And he goes, no, I'm not. I used to be, but I've been medicated for 2 years. Anyway, he came in, went on my little red chair, started the process, and he was so heebie-jeebie, he couldn't even lie on there. He had to go on the floor. And then I thought, oh my God, what is wrong with me? And this is when all of a sudden, my intuition, my life experience, especially from, I can't even explain. But anyway, I realized what was wrong with him. So can you guess what it was?
No, what was wrong with him?
He had an entity in him.
Oh.
Yeah. So did you know that 80% of people walking around the planet get an invasion at least once in their life, but have no idea about that? And that's just those beings that might have committed suicide, that are in between worlds, and they're just floating around aimlessly, and they can't get to the light unless somebody from Earth sends them there.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, we had an interesting little thing with this recently too, didn't we, Angelique? It was very interesting little experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we'll talk about that. Great idea. But just to go back on this gentleman, so another thing I need to explain, you see, is when people drink heavily, or when they do drugs on a very heavy level, they kind of break that vortex that's kind of protecting them, that shackle that's around them, it breaks. And that's how the entities can come in, and they create havoc, because a lot of them want you to follow them. I mean, I knew a builder who was working on high rises. In fact, that's probably why a lot of builders commit suicide, because of that, and they he had, like, I think Tweety and I got Tweety and Sylvester on either side, right? Tweety goes, oh, you've got a really good life. You've got a gorgeous girlfriend. All is going well. You got a business. You're gorgeous. You're healthy, And this voice here goes, hey, come on, mate. Jump. Come and join me. Come on, mate. And it got to the point where he had, not only did I do a clearing on him, but he had to no longer work on high rises to avoid any issues, But going back to that man, I cleared that, basically the removing of that entity, and protected him so he would never enter again. And when he went to his psychologist that he had been seeing for 10 years, the guy went, whoa, what the hell happened to you? Didn't even recognize him, because he was so calm and collected. Yeah.
Amazing. And entities is something that people don't often talk about, because it's kind of, some people might think, oh, that's a bit woo-woo. And some people say, well, if you drink spirits, it's like, well, you're drinking spirits, you're allowing spirits to come in. And I guess, everything in moderation. I quite enjoy spirits myself, but I've never really thought much about, if I have spirits, am I letting entities into my body? However, definitely, I've had my times of, taking drugs and all that kind of thing in the past. And I would say, yes, my energy did get very scattered, and I went through some very dark dark times myself growing up, particularly in my teenage years when I went completely off the rails. And I definitely was not conscious to these entities. However, I would say now, looking back on that there were definitely some dark times when I did not feel myself. And
Wow.
and I guess the thing for those who are watching right now or listening to this, you know, maybe there's something like this going on for you that you're not actually consciously aware of. And I guess that's the beauty of the rapid transformation therapy work that you do, Angelique, is that you can help unravel or discover these things that maybe people don't realize might be stopping them. So no matter how much personal development work, etc., that some people do, that sometimes it can be like they're still circling and circling and circling the same issues because they haven't dealt with this unresolved, deep-seated stuff that could even be generational trauma as well, right? Because apparently we have 14 generations of DNA scientifically that we carry through us in this life as well. So it could even be DNA and generational trauma. And how would you know? Because often we're so close to what we do, we don't see, and so close to, you know, who we are, etc. We don't see often what other people can see. And so would you say this intuition you talk about, Angelique, is this something that anyone can sort of have, this intuition, or is it something you've had to really develop as a skill for yourself?
The second part, you definitely develop that over time.
Right.
And experience teaches you, and you have to be aware and open to receive that information as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all connected. We all potentially tap in. We all potentially maybe have psychic powers, but some are open to it, some aren't. Some trust in that. Some don't know what voices are in their head. Some people just have a whole lot of monkey chatter going on, don't know what to listen to, you know. So it could be a whole range of things. And particularly if you've been diagnosed ADD or ADHD and you use that as an excuse for having scattered attention span, that probably won't help the situation either. Right.
Exactly, and that is a great one. And you know, while we're on the subject of talking about those beings, because that was kind of like off topics, but it doesn't matter. It's still an example, you know, and I'll go through more examples in a minute. But yeah, let's talk about the experience we had on the Gold Coast a few weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, we were attending an event together. We were attending a seminar together, Angelique and I. In fact, we ran an event together called Open Your Mind to Flourish in Coffs Harbour back in February. And the next day I got swept out to sea, and that's a whole other story, and almost drowned potentially. And thank goodness for all the personal development work and everything I've done that I actually survived an hour out in deep sea with in a very scary situation with a lot of sharks in this area. And I was you know, I knew to go with the flow. However, as I kept drifting about a kilometre out to sea, it became a very scary experience. And who knows, maybe there was an entity there as well. Who knows? I mean, you know, it could have been anything, could have come in there. But I survived that experience. And then Angelique and I, obviously, we've become friends over time, as happens with a lot of our Mass Media Mastery members, that we become very close. And so after this event, well, I'll pass it over to you now, Angelique, because you know, the insight came as we were walking up the street in Southport here back to my place.
Yeah. So what happened? From going back to Southport, we caught what's it called? The tram.
We got the tram. We had an event in Service Paradise, so we got the tram in from Southport to Service Paradise.
It was kind of a flashback for me being in Switzerland, because we take the train to go everywhere in Switzerland, you know. So it was really similar. But as we got on the tram, where there was lots of people, you know, Aldwyn sat by the window. I sat next to her, and then there was a little corridor. And hang on, I'm going the wrong way. And on the other side was this lady who Aldwyn knew. She had been your customer for 10 years ago, for 5 years or something like that.
Actually, a lady called Liz Collette. She used to be a professional jockey, and then she became a psychic. And I haven't seen this lady in years. And literally, it was a packed tram. So this is before we got back to Southport, or on the way back. It was a packed tram, and the only 2 seats available, we sat down, and I sat at the window. Angelique sat in the middle, and this other lady was on the other side across the little walkway. And
start talking. She was telling us about all the books that she's writing, etc. Yeah. And the next thing, Aldwyn gave her that, you know, that beautiful affirmation from what is it?
Be the change. This one here: be the change you wish to see in the world, from Gandhi. And she was saying something about, she just channeled Gandhi, and she was, yeah.
So I just said to her, "Would you have a message for me?" And so she started to tap me in a few places, you know, and then she said, "Oh, you've got something really dark around you." And I'm going, oh my God, I'm a really good person. I don't think I'm dark. Yeah, I do get cranky as some of the drivers cutting me occasionally, but that's about it.
Road rage.
And anyway, the next thing you know, she just kept saying that for ages and ages. And then the stop came, so we had to get out of the train. And then all of a sudden, boom, I got this flash. I said, oh my God, I have an entity. I knew it. I have an entity. And then I walked a bit further and I said to Aldwyn, I don't know if I should tell you this because it's going to sound a bit crazy, but it's my husband.
Yeah, and so we both got goosebumps at that point. We both got goosebumps. It was like, oh my gosh, and we both felt it. And it was
very real. Yeah,
it was very real. Yeah,
and it just made sense. Yeah, it just made sense with how I just circumstances in my life. It just made sense, and I thought, oh my God, this is irritating. You should let me go now because it's been a while, literally 15 years. Come on. Anyway.
Since he passed. And what did he pass from?
Oh, well, the physical thing is supposed to be a cancer, in the stomach, but it was just that he was ready to move on. That was just the tool he needed to be able to move on. Yeah.
Right. So 15 years ago he passed away and he's hanging around in your body.
So I went back to my son's place where I was staying on the Gold Coast, and I got myself all nice and comfortable, and then I decided to let's get this happening now. So I had him sitting in front of him and I told him, hey buddy, this is as much as appreciated. We had this great conversation and everything, and I said, it's time to let me go. You've got to let me go now. And I sent him to the light. I didn't realize he hadn't gone across. I thought he had gone across. But he's now definitely well and truly there. And I felt really free after that. It was quite extraordinary. And things have opened up since then too. Yeah.
And massive shifts have been happening in your life since then. I've really noticed, like your profile online, and so much has shifted. You've had beautiful photos done, and you almost look like a new person now. Like you feel lighter, And I know, some people watching this might think this is all a bit woo woo and out there. Well, I encourage you to just have an open mind around this conversation, right? Because we know that everything is energy, right? We know, scientifically proven, 99.99999% of us is energy, frequency, vibration, right? And so there's a lot going on in the world that we often don't see. However, we can feel, and you can feel it with the energy when you put your hands together and you focus on the middle point. You can feel that energy that we have, our chi energy, our life force is there, that you can feel when you bring your hands together, right? So we know that there's some kind of energy, and we know also the minute people die, their body becomes lighter. The minute they die. So that means your soul goes somewhere, right? Your soul goes somewhere. Something happens that, who knows what it is. People have all sorts of religions they believe in. I believe personally in source, God, whatever your version of that is, greater organized design. I believe it's one energy field that we're tapping into. We just have different stories around it. That's what I believe. But whatever it is for you, that we're definitely all interconnected, and there's this quantum field that is incredibly powerful, and we are part of the whole, right? We are one and the same. And so when we look at today's topic about how to transform your life rapidly, right? Fast, how to transform your life fast. Your life has many different dimensions, right, Angelique? So if we can just sort of unravel that, these layers to our life, because sometimes it's like and Anna Berger was talking about this on a previous show we did actually recently. She was saying that often in life, it's like we have the accelerator on and the handbrake at the same time with things that we want in our life. It's like, yeah, really, really, really want this. And then we've got the handbrake pulling us back. Right. And that could be this entity. It could be, and it's a great analogy. And if you feel a bit like that, then listen in, because we're going to give you a few strategies and tips here that can help you through this. So,
it also goes back to what I said at the beginning, that we are really, really, I like to sort of use as an analogy, an iceberg. As humans, we like an iceberg. We are all controlling our lives from what's above the water, which is just the head, which is only 10-15%, but the body can't move, because it's underwater and it's so much bigger. And that is why there's a big a difference between the head and the heart, and the idea is to join these two together so that you can move easily. That's what it's about. But hang on. So that was quite phenomenal and powerful. But if I can give you some more examples of how things that are deeply buried in your subconscious can hold you back. I was just thinking the other day, just think about the second born in a family that is the same sex as the first one. That child is already coming to the world kind of not being as loved as much as the first one, because every human being would like to have one of each, a boy and a girl.
That's a good point.
You know, I just thought of that. You know,
Yeah.
It's very subtle, and of course the parents are going to love that child anyway, but there's still going to be that little element that, oh, I wish you had been a boy, or I wish you had been a girl, you know.
So true. And that's exactly what happened to me, actually, Angelique, because my dad wanted two boys. He wanted two boys. My brother was born 2 years later. I was born. And even though Dad said to me, I wanted two boys, he said, oh, we loved you so much, even though you're a girl, we still loved you as much, if not more. However, it's still, I still felt, I guess, for most of my life that I wasn't good enough, that no matter what I did, I was never going to be like my brother.
Exactly my point. Exactly. So that needs to be dealt with, type of thing, and really released, and like, for example, that there was two sisters that were what do you call it, deaf? Is that right? Am I saying the right? Sometimes I confuse a deaf and deaf, but anyway, they couldn't hear. Two sisters.
Deaf. DEAF, deaf. Yeah, couldn't hear.
Sorry.
Yep.
Couldn't hear.
Yep.
They went to doctors and specialists and said, oh no, your nerve is damaged. There's nothing we can do. And then one of them heard about RTT and had a session and regained complete hearing, because when she was very little, or when they were very little, they both heard their parents having, toxic relationship, constantly yelling at each other. So what did the universe do to protect them? Made them not hear.
Not here.
Yeah. So,
I would actually interject here and say that I'm not quite sure. I'm actually, before I say this, I want to give it a little bit of preface. So I'm actually saying this based off of what I've learned from actually Anna, because I actually chose to work a little bit with Anna over the last week. And so I would actually say it's not necessarily the universe that did that to them. I would actually say it was their subconscious that actually did that to them, because the subconscious got traumatized, and so basically it created a block.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And one of the reasons why that rapid treatment was able to help them is because basically the block was removed. The subconscious learned that it is safe to hear.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah. Well said. Well said, Ken. Awesome.
Yeah. So Anna Berger's based in Melbourne, and she does subconscious recoding work, what she calls subconscious recoding. And I've had a session with her, and I've had a session with you as well, Angelique, and both were amazing, right? I can say both of you absolutely amazing, and actually quite different in your approaches and the way you do things as well. So I think, you're both amazing, and I think, when people choose to open up to this kind of work, when they're actually ready to really let go of this subconscious trauma, people need to choose who they align with most. What kind of, like, there's going to be people that like you more, Angelique, going to be people like Anna more. It just depends on, the energies and how they're feeling and whatever. So there's plenty of work out there for everyone. And I think what you both do is very, very important work, because it is really dealing with that bottom of the iceberg. There's no point doing all this stuff at the top of the iceberg when you've got all this stuff going on at the bottom that you're unaware of. So it's actually bringing consciousness to our unconscious is actually what you're helping people do, and to shift that and transform that once it comes to the surface.
And that's where hypnosis comes into place. You know, it's only 20% of the process, but that's why we just use it. It's, you know, for those who have never been hypnotized, you know, I'm not going to tell you to buy me a Mercedes. Thank you very much. I'm quite happy with everything I have. It's basically just a deep relaxation.
I'm singing the Janis Joplin song. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsche. I must make friends. Anyway, Mercedes Benz. Back to the. I got
Wow.
I know. I've got a great singing voice. Thank you so much.
You actually do. Actually, you really do. But I wanted to chime in and also say, you know, yeah. So when you are ready for that change, methods like what Anna teaches, methods like what Angelique you teach, and stuff like that, it's definitely a really, really powerful tool that can be used. And I mean, I got my eyes opened up to it. You know, I mean, I went through Anna's 5-day challenge, and then midway through that challenge, I actually had the privilege. She picked me to do just on the spot recoding over an issue I was dealing with. And I actually got the chance to immediately see the difference and the results of that. So, you know, it was quite eye-opening and powerful to me. So, yeah, and all of those techniques. So even the ones that you teach, Angelique. So, and we've had a conversation a while back around what you do and everything else, and that was also a powerful conversation as well.
Thank you. So that conversation we had, we were talking weight loss, really, remember? And this, and basically, you know, excess weight is always a psychological protection.
Yes.
And that's why rapid transformational therapy is so powerful, because it helps you realize under hypnosis that you created this. And then once you realize you created it, you can also learn how to undo it. And that's what happens. In fact, all illnesses are psychosomatic. I know it's a big statement, but it is, you know. So it's quite phenomenal, really phenomenal. And we need to tell more people about this. Yeah.
And you've done a lot of different modalities, obviously. And Angelique, you're known as the Angelic Transformer, right? And in just a few sessions, it's amazing how you can transform people's lives with this. So for people out there that might be stuck with something, and you know, that maybe they just can't wait to have a session with you, what are some things maybe they can put in place now before they actually have a session with you, maybe to start to gain some awareness around whatever could be going on for them?
Yeah, to reflect on their lives. And so I think, you know, like a person could be sort of, actually, I mean, I'm just going to tell you about a story about me. You know, I remember as a child in Switzerland, you know, where they had just gone through the war, and they were just, every parent always wants to upgrade your life. So my parents, to protect me, were sort of drilling, like, I mean, seriously drilling into me that you cannot be rich, healthy, and happy. You have to choose one.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. You know, so obviously I had money issues. Because I thought, oh, well, I don't need it. And in fact, it was quite fascinating because I've had an absolutely glorious life. I've traveled all around the world many times. Like, I've been to so many places. I've got everything, you know, like, things have changed. But, you know, I still always had everything I needed. We lived in great houses, etc., because the universe provides. And once you know, in fact, there's 25 lifetimes of everything you could possibly wish for available in your escrow right now. Did you know that? But obviously nobody wants to eat it all at once, because it would be getting it all at once, because it would be like eating all the meals you're ever going to have for the rest of your life in one go. You know? And the only reason you don't see it, feel it, touch it, or sleep with is because you're not allowing it in.
Because some people love love drama, don't they, Angelique? And I mean, we've been conditioned this way. We know through the mass media, we've seen dramas. I mean, you put Netflix on nowadays and 99% of it is just drama. And the TV, of course, a lot of drama, a lot of misinformation, of course, which is what Ken and I stand for here, is shifting that and helping to wake people up to an alternate point of view. So knowing that people are conditioned to live in drama, people I find often will create drama, and there's 80-20 rule. Let's say 80% of people create drama when there actually is no drama. And somehow they just keep attracting drama after drama and then wonder why it's like they've got one foot pinned to the ground and they're just going round and round in circles,
There's a reason why when I watch things like Netflix and different things like that, there's a reason why I am very old school in what I watch, because I want to stay as far away from all these new programs that are out there as possible, because I know that there are sick woke agendas in a lot of these new programs. And I'm just like, I don't want any part of that. So yeah, I'm stuck in the 80s. I'm stuck in the 90s as far as what I watch. I watch, some of the classics, I watch Star Trek, The Next Generation, Star Trek Voyager. I mean, I don't think there's anything harmful in those things. I'll watch like different episodes of like NCIS and different things like that. I don't see much drama in those things. I don't see a woke agenda. So I'm very, when I, do watch TV, if you will, I'm very selective. And that's another thing, actually. Live TV for me, I think it's been at least a year and a half to 2 years since I've even watched anything on live TV. Because number one, commercials drive me absolutely bonkers. I think they're stupid. I think they're idiotic. I think and I think that there are subliminal messages that go on underneath these things that they show you and stuff like that. And I just don't want anything to do with it. It's even here's an interesting little quirky one for you. Every night, it's just kind of like a little thing that I do. When I sit down and stuff like that, I'll play like 15, 20 minutes of this poker game on my phone. And it's live poker. So, I mean, you've got live players. I mean, so it's real. These aren't computer generated players. These are real players. But, when I log in and before I get to the Texas Hold'em table on my phone, there's an advertisement that pops up. Even with those things, I'll use the 30 seconds that they're trying to advertise something. I'll set my phone down and I'll go do something else and come back to it and then get to the table, just because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see what they're trying to advertise to me. I don't want to know. I don't want to, I don't want any part of it. So, I mean, very careful with things like that and careful what my eyes and ears hear. For the most part, there are some things I know it's like, yeah, I could probably, rid that, but, guilty pleasures, if you will.
I've got a great little story that reflects this drama. So, hang on. The story is about pain. So, we all have emotional pain. So where is it though? Is it in our mind? Is it in our heart? We don't know exactly really. So let's just pretend for 1 minute that it's just like a little organ on your hand. Okay, just like a little organ somewhere in your body. So that little organ, just like any living organism, needs to be fed. What does it feed with?
Fear.
Exactly. More drama, and but as you hear this story and everyone else, you're going to be becoming aware of that, because I'm going to give you a really good example. So this is ages ago, but when we lived in Coffs Harbour, my daughter had a boyfriend at the time, and they were going to the Gold Coast for the weekend. So he comes home from work and she had packed his bag, and he looks in the bag and he goes, "Oh my God, you've only given me one T-shirt. What kind of a girlfriend are you?" And so I heard that and I went down there and I said, "Oh, look," whatever his name was, I'm not going to say it now, but look, isn't it amazing? Look at that little pile on the floor over there. You got to put it in the magic basket where it's all going to get washed and folded and come back to you. So, we look at problem solving. So my daughter says, hey, who cares? We'll just buy a couple more t-shirts up there, or we can even take it with us, because in the apartment there's going to be a little washing machine, and we'll just quickly wash them up, So problem was solved. However, I said to them, now don't take that story with you and rewind it again and again and again all weekend and spoil it, because that's what people do. They love to advertise, and that's how they keep feeding that to their body. So as you become aware of these stories that you're doing this, as you become aware, first you're going to see it in others, then you're going to see it in yourself. And as you bring awareness to it, you bring them to the light and they vanish. So,
yes, so true. Yeah, I love that story. Yeah, it's a great story, and it can be over the littlest things. Now, let me share a story happened just last night with me. This is an interesting thing. I was at the gym last night. I kind of crashed yesterday. I got back from Bali. I hadn't slept. It was 1 a.m. by the time 1 a.m. Bali time when I left, which was like 3 a.m. Queensland time when I left sort of 2 days ago, and basically went from Bali down to Adelaide to Brisbane and then Gold Coast. So it took all day traveling to get back to the Gold Coast. And I came back and I wasn't tired. And so I just worked away till about 1 a.m. and then set my alarm the next day for around 8. I totally slept through the alarm and I got up at 10:30. Right. So I was obviously really tired. And then I kind of crashed, and I actually did a post on Facebook. I said, I've crashed after this 2 weeks away. What do you recommend we do to integrate? And so I ended up sharing what I did to integrate there. And one of the things I did to integrate after being away for 2 weeks, because often you have this big high when you're away or you're at a retreat and you're feeling amazing, and then you come back home and then you kind of crash. It's like, back to day-to-day life again. And as much as I love my life and I love coming home, there's that integration time. There's a time, to sort of take it all in and reflect. And so one of the things I did is I went to the gym. And I went to do some weights at the gym last night. And now the gym closes at 8 o'clock, right? Now I got there at about 6:30, which I thought was plenty of time to do a workout. I did some weights. I then hopped in the sauna, and then I hopped in the shower. And when I hopped in the shower, it was about 5 to 8. And I thought I'll just take a few minutes to have a shower and come out. And then a few minutes to 8, I hear this really loud knock on the shower door, and someone saying it's 8 o'clock, right? And now when I looked at the clock, it was like 5 to 8, only like 2 minutes ago, right? So this person was obviously very agitated, needed to be. They were a staff member, needed to be out the door at 8 o'clock, right? And so by the time I came out, so it was like, I looked up at the clock, it was 1:08. Okay, 1:08. And this woman started to yell at me, Aldwyn, we've been waiting here for you, da, da, da. And I said, it's 1:08. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, next time I will be more diligent in future. And she said, I'm sure it's later than 1:08. I'm looking at the clock. I said, well, maybe your clocks are, need to be aligned with the one in the bathroom. And like, it was just all this drama over 1 minute late. And so talking about the drama cycle, and I've been really thinking about that today. I thought, wow, that woman really got worked up about me being like holding her up 1 minute, heaven forbid, from her shift. Oh my God, she gets paid till 8 o'clock. Heaven forbid, hold her up 1 minute. And then I thought, well, there's these in-time people and there's on-time people, right? And some people, like, they take it really seriously. Oh my gosh, you've held them up for 1 minute. You've wasted 1 minute of their time, and it was fascinating. And I've really been sort of considering that today. And I thought, just send this woman love. I thought she's obviously got some trauma from the past over time management, or over maybe sometimes she was late 1 minute and got persecuted somewhere. And so what happens is the persecuted hurt people, right? And then they reflect that back to other people. So literally last night, and I was kind of like, because I don't like any conflict. I don't like, I tend to, when people get angry, I'm out the door. And that's exactly what happened. Like, she went off ahead and I went, I went 1 minute late. I kept my calm. I thought, wow, she really, that's really interesting. 1 minute late and she's gone off her head. And she's a staff member. She shouldn't be yelling at members of the gym. I mean, that's really unprofessional for her to carry on like that. And I haven't reported it to the manager, mind you, but I thought, okay, all right. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I can be responsible for that. Okay, maybe, allow enough time in future to maybe aim to get in the shower at 10 to 8 instead of 5 to 8, maybe allow, so I could look at myself and go, okay, I could take that on board. However, this emotional reaction, back to what you're saying about the drama cycle, the drama hook. In fact, some people call it in the Money and You program, they call it the drama hook, right? Yes. And I thought, wow, where else in this woman's life does she create that kind of drama over such a small thing? And how long would she have held on to that drama after she left the gym? Like, I literally left the gym. I went on a Zoom networking event. I had a great time. I then did some work. I didn't let it get to me. However, the anger from that 1 minute has really sort of made me consider, why is it that people get so worked up over what can seem like really little things?
And that's, again, because they're working from the head. They really just think that, they've been trained and then they're just really following those rules, and they need to follow those rules in order to, and that's,
that is really actually interesting. Most of the time I find, like, and the only time I do this is around the holidays when gyms close earlier than normal. And I'll usually push the envelope, I'll usually, wait until, like, it's kind of like that awkward moment. And they're looking at me going, okay, it's time for you to go. But I've never had anybody, like, yell at me. And, maybe that's because most of the time when I push the envelope, the staff that's around, they know me. They know who I am. They know I'm not going to go somewhere in the gym and just hide there until they lock up the gym and then just have fun in the evening time. So, I mean, most of the time I feel like there's lots of grace given, but I don't think I've ever been yelled at like that. That is quite absurd.
And this is a gym I've gone to for 15 years, mind you. Like, this woman's seen me come and go and she's never yelled at me like that. And I just thought, wow, this is really, something's obviously going on for this woman to really take that anger out on me. She basically dumped her crap on me, and the security guy was there. There was another staff member there, and she just went off her head. I was like, wow, this is really something here.
You see, that's part of her matrix. That's part of what's going on in the subconscious of her matrix. And, one that's definitely something that I have learned with working with Anna is to recognize when things like that happen with other people. That's part of their matrix. And it's not my job to go and fix that matrix. It's not my fault. And just let them be. Just let them be in their own space and, move on, because that's.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, as I was doing yoga this morning, I thought to myself, because I was back at the gym first thing again this morning at 6:30 as part of my integration, right? Making time for me and having sauna and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, wow, I wonder what's going on for this woman in her life. I wonder what sort of dramas are going on, because we don't know, do we? We don't know what's really going on for people. Maybe she has a family member just died. Maybe she's got a child that's a drug addict, I mean, who knows what's going on for people? And so I just thought to myself, I thought I'll just send a love, because hurt people, and send a love and look at where I can be responsible and how me being 1 minute late for the in-time people and on-time people, right? There's the in-time and on-time thing where some people are very rigid with their timing. And there's those that are kind of a bit more blasé. And I must say, I've been a little bit more blasé in my life. I tend to go with the flow a little bit, just a wee bit. And so for those people, just a wee bit. So sometimes I do push the envelope a little bit, and some people get really offended by that. And because they think you're disrespecting their time. And in fact, that's not the intention at all. It's just I am often so in flow and in the zone that I just tend to lose track of time often, right? And this is just something that I've done most of my life. And maybe there's some subconscious stuff going on there too, Angelique. Maybe there's something there for me to look at. But I always look at, the power is in taking responsibility for where I can take responsibility. So I think to myself, okay, well, in future, as I say, maybe I just get into the shower at 10 to 8 rather than 5 to 8 and just allow that little bit more buffer time.
So there's a really good book that is called What Happened to Them. So, like, you know my story, Aldwyn, but for you, Ken, I've had some serious challenges, and I want to talk about manipulation. So I had a really good meeting with a gentleman yesterday, and he thought, oh, manipulated people, there's manipulating people and manipulee. And he thought, they're just victims, they're just asking for it. And I said, oh, you shouldn't say that. You've obviously not been in a situation like I have. So I have a couple of stories, but like to give you an example, when my late husband was, it's kind of talking about the past, which I don't like talking too much because it keeps you in that place. However, because I worked on it so much, I'm not attached to it. I'm just using it as an example. And I can't always talk about other people's stories because it's their, I have to respect their privacy. So I have to talk about mine, but I have lots of examples. So that particular one is like when my late husband was in palliative, in hospital, the nurses asked me, do you want your husband home for the last few days? And I'm going, oh, hell no, because I don't know how to handle high blood pressure or do injections, So I was just living, going back and forth, hospital, home, You couldn't eat, you couldn't sleep, you couldn't work, you couldn't do anything. It was just hell, Anyway, so I was talking to my mother-in-law and asking her, what the hell is going on here? Like, you told me that he was at the end of the road, that I had to accept and prepare as much as you can. And what are we waiting for? Because in the hospitals here in Australia, they just keep you alive. And it's an absolute torture, really, because he was really ready to move on. However, then out of this, in the middle of this chaos, I received a letter by a lawyer, and I had to go to Sydney for a tall poppy syndrome situation I had been the victim of. And that's the other story. And I thought to myself, oh my God, how am I going to do this? My husband is going to feel abandoned in hospital. And I thought, anyway, the next thing you know, my mother-in-law had replied to me, don't worry, he's waiting for his sister to visit. So bring, a few days later, I'm coming to visit. And it was the very same day that I had to go to Sydney. So I was flying in and out. So just telling you the long story because it's very important, right? There's a punchline to this. But anyway, so my daughter took me to the airport of Coffs Harbour to go in and out to Sydney for the day, picked up my daughter, her aunt, who was coming from Sydney to see her brother, took her to the hospital to be with her brother, and went to uni because she became a school teacher. So unfortunately, my sister-in-law convinced the hospital to let my husband out, took him to Perth, which is the other end of Australia. And not only did he die away from us, but they also took him in the wheelchair to the bank and cleaned my bank account, and we capsized and we were homeless. So, I said to my children, my son was 17, my daughter 19. Oh, no, sorry. Can you just process that for a minute? It's pretty cool, huh? And I'm going, what the hell have I done to deserve this, right? Because that's where you go. What have I done, like, to create this? Like, I thought I loved my sisters-in-law the whole time I was married to them. They'd even rang, what can we do to support you? And I said, come here, there's plenty of room, Anyway, so you have to think, what on earth happened to them to make them think that this is the right thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, why?
Exactly. You do wonder, you think, how can people do these things and how can they live with themselves,
But they saw it as being the right thing to do. I was supposed to be evil only because I wasn't, supposedly I learned later that I wasn't, Italian, and he should have married one of his own, etc. But he purposely didn't want that, Yeah. So
in his mind, that was the right thing to do because that was part of his matrix.
Yes. Oh no, to be honest with you, Ken, I know that it was a setup. It was a setup. My husband set that up. Now, for two reasons. Number one, so we wouldn't have to see him at the very end with his big elephant legs, and so we would remember him the way he was. And the second was to keep the family away from us once and for all, to protect us, because he knew what they were really like. And this is drama at its best,
And of course he was abused, and probably the siblings were probably abused as well. So again, we've got
maybe psychologically abused, absolutely, because my older sister-in-law, I remember when she went on a date, the parents had to walk behind,
yeah.
It was old. Yeah. It was just old school. It was different, Yeah.
Yeah. So in some situations, as much as things can be hard to believe, sometimes there's a great saying that everything happens for you, not to you. And I guess if you look at life that way and you think, okay, how is this happening for me right now? As much as things can seem absolutely unbelievable sometimes, you think, gosh, how can people do things? How can they live with themselves and do these things? Sociopaths and psychopaths are a great example. No matter what you say to sociopaths and psychopaths, you're going to keep banging your head against a brick wall. So sometimes you just got to let them go with love, because they feel no empathy. They don't take any responsibility for anything. And then you've got the narcissistic, the pathological lying, the gaslighting, etc., that can happen with those kind of people, right? And that's a whole other story. That could be a whole other episode about sociopaths and narcissists. So sometimes, so choose your battles wisely. And I think, who you surround yourself with, once you know this information, once you now know, because I'd say generally, I think most people are great until proven otherwise, right? And treat others as you like to be treated, right? That's generally how I like to do life. However, sometimes you trust people and you think they're amazing, and then they screw you over, or they rip you off, or they do something, and you think, okay, well, that's interesting. I won't work with that person again, or I won't do, I won't trust that person again. And this is why so many people have trust issues, because there's so many people that are just so, the behavior is just so out of line, and yeah.
So also, there's another element, and this goes back to what you said at the very beginning on how to transform your life quickly, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I taught my children. Like I said to them, first of all, at the time I said to them, we've got two options. We can either sue them, and try to get our money back. But again, that would have gone down the poker machine or somewhere else, and there was no point, because you can't take, what is it called? Blood out of a stone or something like that? What's that expression?
You can't get blood from a stone.
Or we can get on the bus. And so we chose to just get on the bus and forget about it. But you see, this is where it's very important to clear that vibration. However, the way you transform your life quickly is to sit back, a little bit like a stunned mullet, because you're shocked of what just happened, and go, okay, and rise above it, look at the very big picture. And you sort of look at, I always say to my children, just think about if you were way up there in infinity, and you look down on planet Earth, we're not even as big as an ant. Our life is like a drop in the ocean. We've got two choices here. Do we want to spend the rest of our life dwelling on negativity, staying in that vibration of negativity that's on the bottom,
Yes.
Or do we want to just forget about it and get on with it, And
yes.
also, then we also have to remember that we all chose the type of path we wanted to have before we came on the planet. So it's like we were given a card, like a business card or something with your DNA, and you could choose, do you want to have an easy road? If you want to become a doctor, you might choose parents that are doctors. That's going to make your road a bit easier, or, what kind of a road do you want? And so we all chose to come into this third dimension, all this big soup of misery and drama. And then we have the choice to actually wallow in it and stay there, or we can rise and slowly, just move and shift and improve. And this is why personal development is so important. And when you know that it was just part of the process, something you chose, because we live in a world of duality in the third dimension, we need these negativities to rise. And that's the choice you have. You can either rise or you can stay there, right? But exactly. The good news is, as we rise to the fourth and the fifth dimension, I have what I call 5D days just about every day now, 5-dimensional days, because, when even years and years ago, people said to me, oh, what are you going to do with your life? Well, I'm working towards bringing my children to the golden age, because we all heard about the golden age, and the golden age is really that fifth dimension. And as we're rising and rising, we're no longer going to have any contrast. There won't be duality anymore. How good is that?
Yeah, I love all that, Angelique. And it reminds me of the two acronyms of fear, which is fear everything and run, or face everything and rise, right? The two options. You're either going to dwell in the drama or you're going to rise above it, right? And the sooner you can rise above it after the initial shock of whatever it is that's happened, you know, whether it's being a minute late getting out of the gym, or whether it's, you know, someone ripping you off, or whether it's a good friend turning against you. And we've got Justin Ma here from America, actually. Hello, Justin. Good to see you. He says, it's easy to see the good in people, but once the bad does come out, it does have an unexpected effect on everything. Sad to say, it does. And how long we choose to dwell on that drama of unexpected events is completely up to us, right? And as they say, resentment is like wanting someone else dead, but you take the poison. So the quicker we can learn to let go, and this has been a massive learning for me, and even in yoga this morning, the teacher was saying, where can you let go more now? And I thought, far out, I'm letting go everywhere here. But like I had to get out of my hair as I was flopping down and stretching, you know, areas that hadn't been stretched for a few weeks. I've been in Bali, right? I've really missed the yoga, but I felt everything was so stiff. And she's like, where can you let go? Where can you let go? And I think yoga is actually a great practice to help let go. And where else can you let go? You know, who can you let go of, right? With love. Who can you bless and release with love without living in the drama of whatever it is they've done? Because they're obviously hurting people. It's not about you. It's about them, right? Hurt people hurt people. However, if you choose to keep these people in your life after they've hurt you, then, you know, expect the same to happen again.
You know, sometimes it's not sometimes it's just not just about letting go, though. Sometimes it's about recognizing that you have a choice in every circumstance that comes across your path. You can choose to be a victim of the circumstance, or you can choose to pivot in a different direction.
Well said.
That does not mean the circumstance goes away. Sometimes that circumstance is going to be staying with you for a long time, because maybe that's a lesson you need to learn. Maybe that's God showing you, you know, it's like, nope, we need to bring in some refiner's fire here. We need to, you know, refine you in this way, and we need to form you this, and because you've got this task ahead of you. There's many different things. And yes, I do agree with the statement. Things happen for you. All things have a purpose. Absolutely 100%. But you remember, you have a choice in every circumstance. A really good friend and a mentor of mine is famous for this statement that she says, which is, choices create change. Change your choices and your choices change.
Yes, very well said. And it's just like Einstein said, you know, if you want change, you have to keep changing your thinking. I forgot the actual line, but we think about 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. And guess what? The next day you wake up and you still go thinking the same thoughts again. So if you want change, you know, you need to actually take action. Yeah. And one of the steps is to do a deep release and come and do a session with me. Good. And just one more thing I'm going to say about RTT too is RTT, which is short for Rapid Transformational Therapy, is that the reason it's so effective, and usually one session is extremely transformational, and you know, we're all time poor, and that's why it is such a great modality. And the reason it's so effective is because we usually focus on one issue at a time. So, I mean, you know, I knew a lady who was earning, like, she was really upset because she was in a job that she had to take because the government made her take that job, and she was only earning about $500 a week. And then she just kept saying, come on, universe, I've got something to do, you know, what's going on? The next thing you know, she did a session with me. So the next thing, she went back to work on Monday. Guess what? They closed the office. So everybody else was so sad because they were losing their job, and she was going, hallelujah, I'm free, you know? And she ended up getting a job and making $8,000 that week. It's crazy. I know, right? Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. And back to your point there about the 60,000 thoughts a day. So the stats are that 95% of the thoughts that we have every day are the same that we had yesterday, and 80% are negative for most people.
Oh, wow.
80% negative thoughts, 95% the same as we had yesterday. So until we do this rapid transformation therapy work, and until we do this subconscious work and help to let go of this trauma or entities or whatever it is that's holding you back, then expect the same results, right? Expect to see the same.
Then, do we have time for another story? Yes.
Yeah, I'll just say hello to Justin here. He's got some comments about this as well. Justin says here, I think letting go does depend on how much of an impact that person has had on your life leading up to the situation that divided you. It took me months to let go of a former friend that hurt me so deeply, who I had known for years. I think the older you get, the easier time you have with letting go of most things. That's an interesting point.
Well,
Justin.
To answer that question, Justin, because you're trying to do this yourself from a mental perspective, and that's why it's hard. And that's why, rapid transformational therapy is a really good way to help you with this process, because we use hypnosis to go beyond and to talk about it on a very deep level. And that's why it's just a much quicker way to help you resolve something like that. And hey, I was married 20 years to my husband, and I loved my sisters-in-law, and they still did that to me, So, hey, no, for me, they did that for me, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it can definitely come as a shock initially, particularly with people you've known for a long time who you've trusted. And in fact, I gave $40,000 once to people that I trusted, who I was in business with, and lost the whole lot just like that. People I trusted who I'd worked with together for 5 years at least, and got ripped off $40,000. And I think to myself, well, thank goodness it wasn't 400,000 or 4 million. I mean, there's people who have lost a lot more, and in fact, what I've noticed in my life, like around the, just back to the 1 minute late thing, I actually just reflected on a time when I missed a plane by 1 minute. I missed a plane by 1 minute. On my clock, it was actually the right time. And on his clock, it was 1 minute later. And I missed the plane. I had to pay extra to get on another plane. And so interestingly, the universe or life or whatever keeps bringing me the same kind of lessons, like, Aldwyn, allow enough time, maybe work on shifting this habit. It's because it has become a bit of a habit of leaving things to the last minute and sort of, sometimes being a bit blasé around time. And I think also years of working in the media where we've been working to tight time frames all the time, I've found that I've actually worked really well when I'm on, I don't like the term deadline as much as time frame, but when I'm working to tight time frames, I find that I actually get very productive when I have a limited amount of time to do things. However, it's going to take some work to actually recode that to shift that now, because I see that it's become a habit.
Do you know, Aldwyn, if you were born in Switzerland, you wouldn't have that habit, because in Switzerland, you go to take a train every time the second, the needle of the second gets to the 12, the train departs every time on time.
Wow. The minute it goes to the 12, are you kidding? Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is crazy.
And by the way, Justin, yes, good to have you part of our show as well, or as watching and stuff like that. So great to see you as well.
Yes, great to have you back, Justin. And Vanessa, hello. Vanessa's podcast is with us. Hello. Let us know, where are you joining us from today? If you just joined us, love to hear from you. And what are you getting out of this conversation? Let us know. What are you getting from this conversation here? Because, I always say we never know what we're going to say in our shows, but we do know that the right things come out, that what needs to be said is said every time we do a show. And we never quite know what that's going to be from one show to the next. However, I think we've covered some absolute gold here so far on the show. And so for people that do want to work with you, Angelique, what is the best way for them to do that?
Well, just reach out. There's so many ways. Obviously, through Facebook, you can PM me, or you can jump on my website and contact me through there. And I just wanted to share one more story, if I could.
Sure.
You were talking about previous lives, and there's no need to go digging into your previous lives, in my opinion. However, like I had this man, right? He had a problem with drums. He could not stand the sound of drums because it would give him massive palpitation. He felt like he would have a heart attack. The anxiety level would be so extreme. So imagine going through life not being able to listen to any music, because all music always has a beat. Anyway, so as you would have it, the universe gave him a beautiful girlfriend who was a musician, and she wanted him to come and listen to her, and he couldn't. So he came to do a rapid transformational therapy session under hypnosis. Where are you? Because obviously then the person is really going to look at what is the root cause of that issues, and there's usually several scenes that pop up that lead to that. And for him, he couldn't see anything. He said, oh my God, it's black. I can't see anything. And then he goes, hang on, wait a minute. I'm in my mother's womb. She's 7 months pregnant with me. And she's hiding in the cupboard under blankets and pillows. And there's some men coming into the house with machete guns, killing everybody in sight. And we had to flee from this country and never went back again. So it was the mother's heartbeat. That was... Yeah, and as he got to release that, because part of the process is they receive a tailor-made recording that is going to basically rewire at the beginning of it, it puts them back under hypnosis so that it works on a very deep level. And he was able to lead a normal life after that and enjoy music. But it's incredible, like, in the moment, boom, you would never think. What would happen, and extreme fears or all sorts of things can affect your child. Yeah.
Amazing. And it starts with the willingness to be open to shifting some things. If you've been stuck with some areas in your life that you've really been, working on for a while, that you really want to shift, whether it's, losing weight, or whether it's, getting yourself out there and building confidence, or whatever it is in your life, or whether it's better relationships, whatever it is, then it actually starts with willingness to be open to actually having a session with you, Angelique, or with chatting with you. So I put a few links there in the chat here for you, so you can connect with Angelique at allthews.refreshyourmind.com.au and angeliquepellegrino.com. So for those tuning in on the audio, it's Angelique, ANGELIQUE, Pellegrino's PELLEGRINO.com. And also she has a Facebook page, Refresh Your Mind with Angelique, facebook.com/refresh your mind with Angelique as well. You can check her out there. And how long do these sessions take, Angelique?
They're supposed to be 90 minutes, but I usually give 2 hours, so we can really make sure they have a tremendous transformation.
Fantastic. And any area of their life, right? So what are some common areas that people come to you for?
Yeah. And by the way, I can do this via Zoom from anywhere in the world. So that's very important. So depression, anxiety, any weight issues, any public speaking, migraines, like any actually illnesses too, believe it or not. It will help with the healing process. It will then be guided to getting the results. What else?
Being open to love again. That's a big one.
A lady came because she had a skin problem that was so bad that she hadn't been able to wear a dress for about 15 years. And you know what it was? The root cause? She had been ripped off by a builder that came to do some renovation in her house, and she was so angry with him the whole time, couldn't let go of his anger, even though he was dead. And she was able to let go of that. Her skin healed and was able to wear a dress. I mean, it's crazy how it affects you. That's what I said. It's psychosomatic, That's why it's so important to get to the root cause, which is hidden. Most of it has been pushed down, shoved down, like a person who's been abused. The same thing. I had a lady, I don't know if I'm allowed to say her story, and I better not. So anyway, but it has incredible effect on your life. So
people can read the book. And have you got those other books there, the compilation books, which we're both in? Yep.
The first book I was in is called Radiance. Oops, the daisy. We're good at this.
Yes.
Radiant. And it's visionary women igniting the light in others.
And that was compiled by Leanne Clune. I was in that book as well.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Plug for you too. And then we Release the Shackles. Oops, the daisy.
With
Can you see
Crystal
that?
Hill. Yes, that's with Crystal Hill. She's also
What?
actually, these are both our Mass Media Mastery members as well. Release the Shackles, and I'm in that one as well. I
Yeah.
think you're in 4. I think I'm in 3 of them, and so these compilation books are very powerful. This one
Yeah.
I'm not in. Inspired Creators. That looks like an amazing book too. That's
Yeah.
by
So
Crystal Hill.
you can get all these books from my website. It takes you straight to Amazon. I don't get any. All the proceeds go to charities. So,
Amazing. And Inspired Living, a guide to ignite joy and prosperity.
So I share my story and I explain how to transcend from this. And so my new book, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm just going to quickly.
An Inspired Life, that was the one with Christine Innes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Christine Innes. Yep.
And this is my new book. It's
cover. There it is.
The Secret to Rapid Transformation, How to Transform Your Life Within 7 Days. And it's mainly to help people who are really on the bottom, that have lots of dramas in their life and they're desperately looking for a solution. That will definitely change their life. In fact, every time they read that book, it's going to lift them even more. So tell everybody about this book coming out. Hopefully we'll have it ready by Christmas. There's lots of pieces of the puzzles that need to be put together. It's not just my writing. Yes. So I will keep you posted. Stay tuned.
Yes, and I believe you do have some sponsorship opportunities for the book. So if anyone wants to feature in the book, reach out to Angelique, send her a private message, and potentially you could have an ad in the back of the book too, which would be amazing marketing for you. So check that out as well. I'm so excited about that book, Angelique, and everything you're doing. It is so, so cool. We're going to start wrapping up shortly. We've got Justin here says, side note, Ken, it's great to see you again, of course. And he says, I was in a food coma up until right as I joined, so I missed a lot. That's okay, Justin, because the replay will be up on, we are streaming right now to Facebook, to LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And this is also going on to BitChute, Rumble. It's going to go on to all the podcast channels as well, so you can tune in later and catch up on what you have missed out on, my dear. And Justin says, love the feeling of love. Yes, I put a very interesting post up on my social media last night about sex, actually. However, sex and love often get collapsed, and that's a whole other story and a whole other episode. However, check out the post if you'd like to get some insight into love, lust, sex, and all other things. So check that out there. And Angelique, we do like to wrap up with a favorite quote of the day. So I don't know if you have one on the top of your head, or we'll come back to you after we share Ken's links. Do you have a quote of the day right now you'd like to share, or we can come back to you?
Yes. The quote is my quote, and I envision a world where restricted mindsets have been replaced with fully open, limitless, and fearless mindsets.
I love that. Beautiful. And now, Ken, how can people connect with you, my friend? And anything else you want to say on this topic as well? We've been taking a bit of the limelight here.
No worries. You know me, I interject when, when I say something. Sometimes I feel bad about how I interject, because I feel like I interrupt like a thought, and I'm just like, no, I want to get in there. I want to.
I know, and Angelique and I, we love chatting, so we could be here for hours.
But you can connect with me through my link tree, which is www.linktr.ee/FatFighterKen. 3 things draw your attention to on my link tree. 1 is my Facebook group. Join my Facebook group to find out more about my one-on-one mentorship program. If you don't know, I am a mastery weight loss coach through masteryweightloss.com, my own brand and company, and based off of my own transformational experience of losing 62.5 pounds and keeping it off for over 5 years now. I teach other entrepreneurs how to do the exact same thing, but without a diet and by making realistic, sustainable changes that last for the long haul. So I teach you how to literally start making some more permanent results in your life to keep that weight off. So my Facebook group is a definite great place to connect with me there. The second thing on there is on my link tree. So all these 3 things will be right towards the top. Is my calendar link to book an appointment with me and book a one-on-one with me. You know, just it's not going to hurt. I don't bite. I'm not going to high pressure sell you. I'm not going to do any of that. But book an appointment with me, a free assessment appointment. Let me see if I can help you. Let's just get that far. And then we'll talk about the details, towards the end. Will I talk about the details? Will I talk about my prices? Yes. But I'm not going to pressure you for them. Okay. So then there's that. Lastly is my website. There will be a link on there for my website. And so you can check out more about kind of what I'm about on my website. But the best place to connect with me and find out what I'm about, what my beliefs are, what I teach, and all that other stuff is my Facebook group. Click there to join that group.
Fantastic, Ken. And what is your quote for the day today?
Well, I am going to use my all-time favorite one today, and that is treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. And that is by Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And for those who want to connect with me, I have a media business on the Gold Coast. I help people get their message out to the masses using free publicity and online media, mass media channels. And for those who want to connect, just go to my link tree there, linktr.ee/Aldwyn, ALDWYN. Linktree/Aldwyn. You'll see all my social links. There's only about 50 links on there, so just take your time. And at the top there, you'll see my Calendly link as well if you want to book a call with me. Absolutely free, no obligation call, 15 minutes, have a chat. And also you'll see we've got our Mass Media Mastery program as well that you can check out that Ken and Angelique are actually in. And it's a lifetime access program where we basically work together until we get you out there. And we take as long as we need to get you out there and to have you be seen, heard and known out in the world and leave a legacy with what you're doing, not die by being the world's best kept secret, and we're also about lifting the energy on the planet with more good news. And we do have every single month the Global Good News Challenge. In fact, today is the last day you can start your 6-day challenge for June. It's June 30, end of financial year, time for new beginnings. And you can start your 6 days as of today. It needs to be 6 days in a row, though. It is absolutely free. And Ken and Angelique have both done the Good News Challenge. And so I encourage you to check out the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. And pinned to the top is all the details on how to participate. Absolutely free, sharing gratitude and good news. 6 days in a row. If you miss a day, go back to day 1 and start again. However, with the June challenge, if you miss a day starting today, you're now in July by the time if you miss a day, right? So now it's a 7-day challenge for the 7th month, and it goes up to 8 days for August, etc. So all the details are in there, and the whole idea there is to help decrease depression and suicide rates and help create a happier world. And the more we love what we do and the more we are kind to ourselves, the more we'll be kinder to others and the more we'll be able to shift the energy on the planet right now. Justin's throwing a quote for the day. Do not eat too much too early or food coma will be terrible.
Justin, here's what you need to do. You need to go to my link. You need to click on it and book an appointment with me. That's what you need to do, Justin.
There you go, Justin. There you go. Ken is here to help you. Dear Ken, ask him anything you want to ask him. He says, though I'm likely to start teaching a class in the near future, I'm definitely going to be having a stockpile of good quotes I'll make. Okay, cool, Justin. Well, we'd love you to come back on and share. We love how interactive you get with us on our shows. We love to make these shows interactive, and we do have some awesome episodes coming up with some other amazing people. And before we wrap up today, I will share a favorite quote, which is what you think about and think about, you bring about. What you think about and think about, you bring about. It's a different one for me. I usually share, the Gandhi one or the Margaret Mead one, but today I'll share that one. And also this thought here that boring equals bankrupt. I actually heard this on the Edward Zia networking event last night. Boring equals bankrupt. And the more fun you have, the more money you make.
I like that one too.
More fun you have. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And finally, before we wrap up, anything else you want to say, Angelique, on this topic today, this very hot topic about how to transform your life fast with your amazing rapid transformation therapy? Any other thoughts you'd like to share?
No, please tell the world that there is a shortcut, and then it's not their fault. It could be deeply, deeply embedded in them. They wouldn't even know what it is. And that's why it's really important that they do it at least once
Yeah, give it a go. What do you got to lose, right? If you've been suffering with something your whole life, I mean, what's a 2-hour session going to do apart from maybe transform your life? That'd be pretty cool.
One more thing, depression will never, ever, ever happen to you again. And the only reason you're depressed is because you're not in alignment with who you're really supposed to be. So just clarity, and to help you with that, rapid transformational therapy can help you a lot as well.
Yes, and I can certainly vouch for that because I've had depression over the years, and I know a lot of it was internalized anger actually for me, and I've done a lot of work on myself, thankfully, over the years, and I continue to do the work on myself. You know, I keep doing the stuff. So, and that's the thing is with the rapid transformation therapy, when I saw you, Angelique, it was about an issue with a past boyfriend, and I'm no longer with that boyfriend, so now the situation's changed, right? So, you know, so that was what we, you know, so I guess be very specific before you go and see Angelique, what areas specifically do you want to shift? And that will change as time goes on, I guess, as your circumstances change.
You know, something else I want to pop in here too around money real quick. I'm going to be as quick as possible because I know we're wrapping up here.
Yes.
It's one of the things I've learned from working with Anna, you know, and it's actually one of my recodes, if you will. And it's playing with the energy of money is easy, fun, and simple. And, you know, there's a really important point that she made during her 5-day challenge around the energy of money. And it's like, if you've got the type of relationship with money where you're just kind of like, you say things like, when it comes to you're kind of just more like, where have you been? You know, why don't you stay? You know, and then you don't do anything with it. And, you know, you're not really playing with the energy of money. You're not really letting it flow out and letting it go freely if it wants to go to somebody else or anything like that, but you're holding it captive, or you're just like, where have you been? Finally, you've arrived. Things like that. If money, forgive the illustration here, but if money were a person, would that person actually stay with you? Would that person actually come to you with that kind of relationship? So it's kind of the same thing with money. You've got to have a type of relationship with money where it flows in and out and through you. The energy of money is very, 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 very powerful. Can it be used for evil things? Yes. Can it be used for good things? Yes. Your heart determines whether money is evil or good. What you do with it determines whether it's evil or good for you. So, you know, it's just a thought to, you know, kind of maybe adjust your relationship.
Well said, Ken, and absolutely crucial. I've done a lot of money seminars too, where, you know, and there's been times we actually sit across, we have 2 chairs facing each other. You sit in one chair and on the other chair is some money, and you actually have a conversation with money. And, you know, and it's fascinating. And a lot of this can be subconscious stuff too that people don't realize, or, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, and, you know, you can't have money and be happy, all those kind of beliefs that are often very subconscious for who, like Angelique was sharing early too. So the minute you get conscious to it, you can actually shift it. And in fact, something I do with my team is that we have a mantra that this is easy, this is simple, this is fun. This is easy.
Yeah.
However, you trying to do this with affirmation, oh my gosh, you know, ever since I was young and I realized that that's where it came from, I would use affirmations. And it's never going to work because you're still lying to yourself. And this other one is so deeply rooted in you that no matter what you keep saying, it's not going to work. That's why you got to get to the root cause and really clear that down.
It's like the train. It's like the freight train and the bicycle. So, I mean, the freight train is actually your subconscious and the bicycle is actually your conscious mind. So if your conscious mind is going after this and you're just like, I am, you know, I am successful. I am this and I am that and I am this. And you're running at it and you're going at a full speed and your subconscious freight train is going the opposite direction. How long do you think that's going to happen before you finally get snapped back?
Exactly. Well, great analogy there, Ken. I love it. I might have to use that.
Yes. That's not mine. That's Anna's.
So true. So true. And look, I think it all helps. And Anna's awesome. I've done the 5-day challenge with Anna as well, and she's a personal friend, and like you are, Angelique. And you're both extraordinary. I love the work that you both do. And I suggest people go and see both of you. Go and work with both of you because because you've both got your own styles. And and it can't hurt to even dig deeper. Whichever way either of you go. So definitely reach out there. We've had some awesome guests on this show, and this is number 33 now, a 33rd show. And happy end of financial year to everyone. Here's to an amazing next financial year as of tomorrow. Tomorrow here in Australia, it's going to take 2 days, I guess, for our American friends and those over the other side of the world. We've absolutely loved being with you today. Justin said here, making money should be fun. Absolutely. And the more fun you have, the more money you make, and allowing that money to flow. And something I say is money comes to me easily and abundantly, and just fully embodying that and feeling that. And I've done a lot of the subconscious recoding and a lot of that as well. So I think, yes, affirmations can take you to a certain point. However, really digging deeper, if you're finding that you're facing the same challenges again and again, that it's time maybe to consider doing something a little bit differently if you want a different result, as they say, right? A definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So this is about shifting that and helping you transform your life fast. Thank you so much, Angelique Pellegrino, for being our special guest today. You're amazing. Can't wait to see your book that is coming out. So please connect with Angelique, the Angelic Transformer, coming to us from Brisbane, just up the road here from the Gold Coast, an hour drive away. And Ken Kleinberg, my amazing co-host, all the way from San Diego. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments if you've enjoyed this. What have you got out of this show today? What have you learned today? What's maybe a new action you're going to take moving forward in your life? Give us some love. Share the love if you think someone else could also benefit from this, which of course they will. Share the love, and we'd love to also see you support our Total Truth Show. We have a Facebook page as well, so you can like our Total Truth Show Facebook page, which is also in my Linktree link, as well as the link for the Global Good News Challenge and all the other amazing things we've got all in the comments there for you. Sending you lots of love. Thank you so much. Any final words, Ken, Angelique?
Nope.
No.
Drink water, people.
Drink water. Yes, drink more water. And waving at you from just north of LA this round, Ken. Oh, very nice, Justin. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, you're very close to each other. Justin works on a lot of movies. He's a producer in a lot of movies and does some amazing work. So in Hollywood, he's right in the heart of it all.
There you go. I have a mini series there for him. Wow, based on a true story. So my story is eat your heart out. No, sorry, Shades of Grey, eat your heart out. Underbelly, eat your heart out.
Oh, yes.
There's titles involved. There's all sorts of stories. I'd love to have the opportunity to get this out there to the world.
Yes. Well, definitely connect with Justin on the socials. He's on my friends list in the socials, so definitely do that. Amir is with us. Amir, amazing episode, Aldwyn. Keep transforming lives. Oh, thank you. Wonderful, Amir. Another one of our beautiful Mass Media Mastery members, another awesome guy from Sydney. He's a buyer's agent, actually. So if you want to buy property, see Amir. And Justin, I only ended up here because of work, but spending all of next week with my dad. He lives here. Oh, that's lovely. Well, blessings to your dad, Justin. That's lovely having some family time there. Thank you so much for sharing. And isn't this great to have these conversations live stream? You know what? I'm so grateful for technology to be able to reach people around the world like we do with this show, and to have you all join us. Sending you all lots of love. Thank you so much again for joining us. And as Angelique said, her story is absolutely extraordinary, and you'll be able to read all about it in the book. We've just touched the tip of the iceberg here. I actually know quite a bit of the rest of the story, and there's definitely at least a whole Netflix miniseries in there. However, I'm sure we'll add a bit of good news in there as well, because we do like to lift the energy on the planet, right?
Endings, happy endings.
Happy endings. We all like happy endings. So here's for our happy ending today. We'll send you a bit of love and our yes button, of course. Yes. And one more. Yes. All right. It's a wrap. Total Truth Show. We will see you at the next one. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again soon. Bye.